Hello there, welcome to Carlton's 24/7 team selection, our first one for season 2015. Head of Coaching and Development, Rob Wiley, is here. Rob, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go, and I'm sure the players are too, Shane. They've had a great pre-season, and as I said, it couldn't come sooner.
April's a long time to wait for round one.
It is. I suppose everyone's been in the same boat. It's you can look at it two ways. One, you know, you got a bit more time to prepare, work on the things that you need to get better at. But now we're ready to go. As I said, we've been really pleased with the way the players have taken on pre-season, the ownership that they've brought to the table, and as I said, we're fit and raring to go.
I can tell the coaching staff's ready to go. As you mentioned, I reckon players are as well.
Shane Mick was pretty fired up today, so there's no doubt the coach is fired up, and
too the fans. They're ready to have a look at this team. Let's get into it. We'll start down the back line, Rob, because that's where all the plays start nowadays. And Sam Doherty, 9th in last year's best and fairest, really good kid. Zach Tui, doesn't seem like he's missed a game in about 5 years for the Carlton Football Club, and Michael Jamison as well. I'll start with Zach. Geez, an impressive Irish footballer. Talk about making the conversion perfectly.
Yeah, and you know, he's been at the club for a while now. Pretty disappointed in his year last year. He had probably not the fittest year he could have prepared. Had a child, and sometimes, you know, that you take the eye off the ball a little bit. But you know, he's probably been, if not the best, you know, in the top 5 on the training track. And his form pre-season has been outstanding.
Jamo still the lieutenant down back?
Yeah, well, he's in our leadership group, one of our vice captains, and Shane, he's just, you know, he's a great person. He talks well, he leads well, and he's going to get all the good players. So he's in ripping form too. Starting
tomorrow night, no doubt. Let's get onto that half-back line now, because one of the kids from Greater Western Sydney won a 2 pickups from the Giants, Christian Jacks, to make his debut for the Carlton Football Club. Chris Yaron across half-back as well. And Sam Rowe, who got the opportunity to captain the club back in NAB 1. Amazing, the story of Sam Rowe. I know we harp on it, but it is quite remarkable what he's become as a man and as a player.
No doubt. You know, he's had his challenges, and he's been able to get through those challenges, which, as I said, augurs well in the character that he possesses. But, you know, that group then, you know, Yaron and Jax. I mean, Jax has been terrific. He had a little bit of an injury scare pre-Christmas, but it's come through. His form in the NAB Challenge games has been really good. He's been able to take intercept marks, high skill level, and you need players coming out of that back line that can make good decisions and then deliver. And Yaron, well, he's just that you know, speed machine. Never looks like he's getting out of first gear, but no one can catch him, Shane. So he's in good form.
Was Christian Jacks one that stood out to you guys in the Carlton coaching group for a while? Someone that you thought, gee, he'd fit into our side well going forward? Well,
you know, you're always looking at your list. List management's really important for the now and the future, and you know, we needed a key tall or key back. And Christian was young, he wanted to return home, so it all fell into place, and as I said, he hasn't let us down. And he's still only young, Shane.
Much is often made of the Carlton midfield. Let's get into that next, and well, there's no shortage of superstars in 2015. Andrew Carazzo, outstanding NAB challenge. Talk about him in a moment. Chris Judd, well, what do you say? And Bryce Gibbs as well. Start with Andrew Carazzo. He's been eased of responsibilities in the leadership group this year, and already in the NAB Challenge, he seems to have been able to unleash himself on the field.
Well, you can ease him coming out of the title leader, but he's a natural leader. Same as Chris Judd, so they don't have to be in a leadership group, they just naturally direct. But you know, both those boys, I'd say they're in their twilight years, have had terrific lead up. And I think, you know, if you looked over the last year or two, they haven't had that same lead up. So we go in with an enormous amount of confidence, one with their leadership, two with their football skills, but three, their fitness.
Bryce didn't seem to have as much time as others in the NAB Challenge, but fully fit going into round 1?
He always try and plan it, but he had a little bit of an injury in the second game, which didn't allow him to play in the third game. But he stepped up from last year, won the BNF last year, and you know, he's led the way on the training track. As I said before, you know, he's taken another step in his fitness. So although he hasn't had the games, he's never missed a beat on the training track.
Let's have a look at the second half of the midfielders to start in tomorrow night's match against Richmond. And we start with Cade Simpson, Cameron Wood as well. What an outstanding ruckman he's become at Carlton. And of course the captain, Mark Murphy, his 3rd season with the Blues as captain. Cam Wood, no spot for Robbie Warnock this time around?
Look, it was a tough call, but probably just match Harden, Cameron Wood, and mix. And the coaching, panel's theory is you've got to take fit people into game one, and so Cameron just got the nod ahead of Robbie, but he's just what you see is what you get. He's a really good competitor.
He seems very comfortable with that number one ruck role.
Oh, he did really well. The last 6-8 games last year, Shane, he came in and we played some pretty good football. So, Woody's there to take his opportunity, and I'm sure he'll give it his best shot. Let's
have a look at the half-forward line for tomorrow night's match, starting with Tom Bell, who just continues to impress. No doubt will in the early stages of this season. Andreas Everett in the form of his career, no doubt, and Lockie Henderson at centre-half forward. Andreas Everett, are you just continually impressed by the way he continues to improve? Stints at Sydney and the Western Bulldogs, but he's really hitting his straps at Carlton.
He came to our club with a bit of experience from those two clubs, and he's just grown in stature. There's no doubt his training is, he's just always out there. He's pushing himself. He pushes others. The good thing is he plays in a number of roles for us. So sometimes we have to fill in gaps. So Andreas is the man.
Let's have a look at the full forward line. A couple of exciting names across this line, including Troy Menzel for Carlton. Dale Thomas, one that Carlton fans, I just reckon they want to get a little bit more out of Daisy this season, Rob, and Liam Jones as well. We'll start with Liam because he comes over from the Western Bulldogs. Strong mark, sometimes plagued by inaccuracy, but he knows how to get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, we lost Jared Waite, so we needed another key forward, and Liam certainly stepped up. He's got great power, he's quick, and he's kicked well at training, so hopefully he'll be able to take that form into games. But I think it's been good for him in pre-season to understand our structures, and he's got better and better after every week.
What about Daisy? What can Carlton fans expect from him? Do you expect him to go another level at Carlton this season?
I think people judge Daisy on the fact that he played roles for us last year through his lack of football over the last year too, and he's missed a beat on the training track. He's led the way. His fitness levels are much higher, and Carlton people will see a completely different Dale Thomas this year.
Jeez, that's something to think about. I think the entire footy community would love to see an up and about Dale Thomas. Let's have a look at the interchange now, Rob. A couple of familiar names, but a couple of relatively new names as well. Simon White and Ed Curnow being the names that are familiar to most fans. Patrick Cripps saw a bit of him last year, but this is one I'm really excited about. Clem Smith, he's from your neck of the woods out west. I think he was #1 in the agility test in the draft combine, and just seeing a little bit of him in the intra-club here in the NAB Challenge, he could be a superstar in the making. I don't want to go too early.
No, Shane, you've got to sort of put your opinions on the line, but look, Clem, I coached him a few years ago as an under-16s. He was a natural footballer, and when we picked him up as 60, I couldn't believe it. In the NAB Cup, he's just got better and better, and the one thing about Clem, he just doesn't get overawed. He takes it all in his stride. So, a hard kid, hard at the footy, uses the ball well. He's going to be an exciting player for the Carlton Footy Club.
It's the traditional season opener. Carlton up against Richmond. There's plenty at stake tomorrow night. Rob, good luck.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the season opener?
Definitely, to be in front of a huge crowd, playing up against a great side. They won last year and the last 2 years, in fact. So, we know we have to play really good football over 4 quarters. But as I said, with our preparation, our players go in with a lot of belief, Shane.
Ready to go. Let's hope Carlton gets on the board. 4 points tomorrow night. Good luck.
Thanks, Shane.